이차기 라치 베거루 알루 베차타고루 예고치 사고루 초치라디 베스치루 가니와탑데 토토유비카 샵달루 틴티 밥달루 양퇴퇴 곤세 나메사메 케토토베 예비 카셀 베케니 텔루 유저 리퍼런스 데치가 샴철루 기디유미 주팅 안데 치가 데와탑나
Kuzuzongbo. I am Garab Dorji, the Chief ICT Officer of Ministry of Health, and today I'm here to speak on Druk Trace app. First of all, I'd like to thank User Events for giving us this opportunity to help us advocate on Druk Trace app. Although many of you might know what is Druk Trace app, for those who don't know, Druk Trace app is an app for contact tracing. It's usually used while you visit public places, and if you don't have the app, you have other alternatives. So I'll be speaking more about the app today. The app was made on the instruction of the government to deal with the COVID pandemic as one of the instruments to deal with COVID pandemic, primarily for contact tracing. So when you have the app is used in case the government has mandated us to use the app for all the publics, because in case there is a local transmission of COVID-19 disease virus, then we are going to use the app for contact tracing. So contact tracing is before the app was available, contact tracing was done manually, and it was very challenging for the surveillance team and the health officials and other volunteers like police and other DSOPs. So it was difficult for them to do contact tracing because it was done manually, and they had to literally call up and find if there is a suspect, where that person has been, who was he in contact with. So in order to expedite this contact tracing process, the government has mandated first to do visitors and travelers registration, visitors registration for public places, and travelers registration in the public transport. So in order to make this process easier, the government has come out with the Druk Trace app. So app is fairly simple. Unlike in other countries, the app, such apps uses GPS, Bluetooth technologies, and is more advanced and more complicated. But in Bhutan, you just have to install the app from App Store and Play Store, and then once you install it, you just have to register using your number and your name. So that's the basics. And once you register, you get SMS, which upon entering the SMS in the app, then you can start using the app. So when you visit a particular place or a public transport, the DSOPs have put QR code across all the public places, and also the government has mandated QR codes to be made available on public transport and public places, and even the office. So wherever you visit, you will see a QR code, and as you enter, you have to scan the QR code. If in case your app does not work, or if you don't have the app, or if your phone does not have data, then you have to register yourself on the visitor's logbook, which you can find in the entrance of the public place, office, or in case of public transport, there is supposed to be a registration done by the driver or any person that is designated to do so. So once you scan, we just collect your time of visiting that place or traveling the vehicle that you're traveling in, and that's it. And we just collect the information on the timestamp, the phone number, and the place or the vehicle that you're traveling in, and nothing else. So there are some speculations that government could be invading your privacy. If we had GPS in this app, then we would be invading the privacy. As of now, we have crossed 1.3 million scans, so it's very challenging and very troublesome for us to actually monitor each and every person. But we can do the contact tracing in case of local transmission if required. Then we can narrow down and do the contact tracing within very short span of time. For instance, the government has been doing the stimulation exercise for outbreak in Phuntsholing, Samchi and Gelepu, where we tried out the Druk Trace app, and it was found out that it is quite efficient. And so they had, during the stimulation, they had a person as a infected person, and when they tried to monitor that person's phone number, they were able to do it within very short span of time. So what we are saying is this app is used only in case of there is an outbreak. Otherwise, we have 1.3 million, and it's very difficult for us to just monitor, because there's also a reservation from the public, especially the business sector, that the government could find out how many visitors they are having in the shops. And that is not the case, because government has no interest as such, and the data is with the Ministry of Health as of now, and we just monitor in case of problems, and we don't intend to use it otherwise. And also we have been receiving a lot of complaints on the need to require the app frequently, update the app frequently. So we need to update the app frequently, because Apple are not so much so, but in case of Android phones, we need to update frequently, because Android phone comes in varieties of brands, and so unlike Apple, the app that has been released does not function on all the types of phones that are available in the market. So whenever we come across such challenges, when the app does not function in this particular phone, we try to fix that issue and release the new update, for which people have to update. But of recent, we have also found out that there is some security flaws in the app. So we have recently released a new version for which all the users have to update their app. So all, irrespective of Android or Apple. So everyone has to update their app and also re-register the app. And once you re-register, then your security flaw issue will be resolved, and then you can continue using. Also another challenge also another issue that feedback that we get is some people are saying that they cannot, although they have the app, functional app, it cannot scan some of the QR codes. So what we have noticed is, if the QR code while printing, if it's distorted, it's supposed to be square in shape. If it's distorted, if it's faded, or sometimes even if it's colored, and in such cases the app does not scan the QR code. And there are also cases where some phones does not have good cameras, and also in such cases sometimes the app does not scan the QR code. Aside from that, in some places, generally the QR code is to be scanned. Ideally, we prefer it to be scanned twice: once you enter the premise or public transport, and once you exit the premise or the public transport. So if you go to JD, there you will find that you are mandated to scan the QR code while you enter, and also scan the QR code while you exit. That is ideally, that is what we prefer. But since it's challenging and troublesome in many other places, we have just right now to get people used to, we have just mandated people to scan as you enter only. But ideally, the government prefers people to scan twice, once you enter, as you enter once, and as you exit once, because that will again help the contact tracing more. Thank you.